and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Thursday, 13th day of January, and the 11th day of Shvat, which means now that we are 4 days away from Tu Shvat. So I wanted to take you to an interesting halacha that's straight out of the Torah. That's why I'm sitting here on this page, so that I can read this pasuk with you. Here goes. God tells us here in Devarim that if you ever go to a war and you besiege a city, don't destroy the trees with axes and go chopping down trees, because we eat from fruit trees. So you should not chop it down. Ki ha'adam eitz hasada, because is man the tree of the field that you were coming against when you did your siege. When you did your siege, you came, you had something to do with the men inside of the city. That's why you besieged the city. But are the trees the man that you're looking for? That's the way God says it. Now this phrase right here, Ki ha'adam eitz hasada, we may come back to that on a different day. That alludes to all kinds of comparisons between beautiful laws about trees and people. And hence it's a pretty important phrase on the holiday of Tu Shvat. But let's keep going. Then the pasuk tells us down here, only a tree that you know that's not something that you eat from, it is something that you can cut down for your needs of war or for other needs also. Okay, right there from those two sentences, we learn a lot about what the laws are whenever working with trees. So generally, the laws that we glean from that are that you should never chop down a fruit tree. But I have here on my cheat sheet 4 exceptions. The 4 exceptions in halacha are this. It's my teleprompter. Exception number 1, if the tree is old and produces very little fruit, then in that case, you are allowed to chop down the tree. Secondly, if the wood is more valuable to you, you chop down the tree and the wood's going to be more valuable than what's growing on the tree, then you're allowed to chop down the tree. Third exception, if the tree is causing damage in some way, then you're allowed to chop down a tree. And all these mean, even if it's a fruit tree, you could chop it down. And also, if it will allow you to expand the living space of your home, and that tree sitting right there, growing right there, is ruining the living quarters of your home, all these would be exceptions that would allow you to chop down a fruit tree. But then, there's something complicated in the mix here, because we have a very famous quote from Rabbi Yaakov Emden, who says that it's dangerous. It could cause you danger spiritually or physically, but it's mystical, let's put it that way. We don't understand exactly how or why, but Rabbi Yaakov Emden says that you're putting yourself in danger if you chop down a fruit tree. Therefore, a lot of people are leery to use these 4 exceptions that I just read to you. They're leery to use those exceptions to chop down a fruit tree. So, therefore, some people add, because of deference to what Rabbi Yaakov Emden said, they add this, and they say, if you are going to chop down a fruit tree, transfer ownership of that tree to a non-Jew, and then the non-Jew can chop down the tree, and these leniencies exist anyway, so it would be better to do it that way. Transfer the ownership of the tree to a non-Jew, and then have the tree chopped down. And lastly, the halacha definitely is true that you're allowed to prune a fruit tree. If cutting down branches A and C will help B, D, E, and all the other branches grow better, then yes, you are allowed to prune off some branches to make the other branches produce more fruit. That will always be permitted. Okay, there's some of your laws on chopping down or not chopping down fruit trees in honor of the holiday of Tu Shvat, which honors the new year of the trees. And we'll give you a couple more tree and fruit laws, hopefully, over the next 2 or 3 or 4 days. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.